This is the Night Wolf howling at you, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Masters of the Universe Rise of Evil 2-pack, the dark origins of two of Eternia's evil warriors. Technically, I'm not really sure it is for Keldor. I think he was pretty much evil, period. Anyway, we have Keldor, the evil apprentice of Hordak, and the Origins Kronis, evil criminal from another dimension. Now, for them to have Origins Kronis on there, that means that Kronis somehow is copyrighted somewhere else or trademarked, and I'm kind of curious as to who has that one. Actually, and in the artwork at the top there, you can kind of see the smoky version of Hordak's head. I didn't notice that until just now. And this set's been out for a while. On the back, we see him, Keldor Kronis, Lords of Power Beastman, Lords of Power Merman, mini-comic Triclops, and the Evil Lyn from Masters of the Universe 2000X series, or at least their version of it, fighting against King Randor, Man-at-Arms, and Naked Stratos. And I'm kind of wondering at what point this became Naked Stratos, because I've noticed a lot of people call him that, and I've been calling him that since he first appeared too. Anyway, we also get to see that you do head swaps with this one, at least for Skeletor and Keldor. Now, Keldor's got an interesting bit of a story here. So the first time we hear the name Keldor mentioned in Masters of the Universe actually comes from the mini-comics called The Search for Keldor. This is the first time we get the hint that King Randor may have a brother, and it doesn't directly say at this point, but it does make it seem like Skeletor is connected to Keldor in some way, as we later find out from the 2000 series. Skeletor is, in fact, Keldor, King Randor's half-brother. Oh, man. I like the capes, but damn, they are a pain to try to get out. Kronis threw his gun at me. Well, let's start off with the accessories here. We have a complete power sword. And it's obviously molded in this kind of translucent greenish color and then painted over to give us this gradient for it. Same thing is done with Skeletor's Havoc Staff. Another fun bit of information for you in the DC Comics storyline. It turns out that Skeletor's Havoc Staff, the top of it is not in fact a ram skull, but a mutated version of a future Skeletor's head. How's that for pleasant? We get the Castle Grayskull rifle, which is unfortunately bent and will have to be dumped into some hot water to to straighten it out. We'll start here with Kronis. Kronis is, of course, the creature that would eventually become Trapjaw. They went ahead and they did try to give us enough stuff to show the similarities. You know, he's got the big harness over here, although his does come off. Oddly enough, he's got spots on the back where you could hook his weapons. So, like, literally, he can carry Trapjaw's weapons on him, even though he has no need for them. However, if you wanted to, you could still swap out his arm with Trapjaw. If it wasn't so difficult to actually get Trapjaw, I might actually consider doing that. Also, Trapjaw's body is molded like this. It's not actually a piece of plastic like it is with all the other ones, or separate piece of armor. So Kronos is, I believe he was a bounty hunter at one point. Then he became just an evil minion of Skeletor. You can, of course, pull his legs off. And they are the same as Trapjaw's. No difference there at all. Basically, everything else is different. So they did not go ahead and just like remold the arms like this to duplicate it, which I think these are actually Man-E-Face's arms too, aren't they? He's just got the standard He-Man hands and bracers. His head, of course, pops off. His arms pop off. And his harness pops off. Articulation wise, he of course has the standard Motu origins articulation. Head on a ball joint, arm can spin around, come out and up and down. Single joint at the elbow, a spin on the wrist, and he's got the in and out hinge instead of the up and down hinge. Waist can spin, no ab crunch. Knees can go up and out, bend, bend, and kind of like Man-E-Face's again, he's got the design of the boot here does not allow for the swivel to really work. Should have thought about it, brought Man-E-Face's with, do the comparisons with him. Now we get to Keldor. The evil half-brother of King Randor, who believes that he should be the ruler of Eternia and not his brother. And I think actually, so the basic story behind Keldor was supposed to be he is actually the half-brother, obviously, as stated. His mother was a Gar woman, which is another one of the races on Eternia. However, they are also kind of known to be like the thieves and assassins of Eternia, and they are also an alien race that crashed centuries, millennia ago. I don't know if we've seen anything where they've shown any Gar during the time of King Grayskull and the Preternia era. So it might have happened between Preternia and modern Motu. Keldor here sports the standard Skeletor harness, with different boots. Then, well, let's go ahead and bring out a Skeletor. Body-wise, like you can see, he's got bracers instead of fins, and he's got the a boot instead of this weird fluffy thing. Normal feet, and not the three-toed claws that Skeletor has. Both of his hands are, of course, gripping hands, which is my preference overall. Granted, I do like the clawed hands, but I wish they'd just give us gripping hands as well, because it's really hard to have Skeletor hold both the Power Sword and the Havoc Staff. Now, these two were actually in the same color scheme overall. The body color is almost identical. This one's a little bit more muted than Skeletor's. And sadly, the robes are different. This is more of a blue purple, and this is more of a dark purple. And I definitely prefer the dark purple to this, which makes it really hard when you want to try to create your ultimate Skeletor. And then to convert him into Skeletor, we can pop the hooded head on. power sword in one hand, staff in the other. The really nice thing about the uh, Rise of Evil 2-pack, and I'm not sure if you can see it really well, but Skeletor's eyes are actually kind of like the clear gem kind of thing. So they have an eerie glow to them when the light hits them, and that is just beautiful. His facial design is also that of the El Carda artwork, and I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that name right. I'm probably not, but one of the original artists for Masters of the Universe back in the 80s. And I mean, it is a beautiful head sculpt. Overall, I do like this version of Skeletor, except for I want the more muted colors. I've already got this pack, and the reason why I picked up an extra is because I want to try to create my more, quote, ultimate Skeletor, which I can get a little bit closer to with the 2000X Skeletor. But that'll be a different video. Of course, if you want, you can also put the cape on Skeletor as well. And actually, I think this is the same cape that they use with Scareglow. Now, of course, we talked a little bit about Kronis here. Just want to add there. Again, another reason for wanting to have a second grippy hand is so that he could actually properly grip his rifle, which he cannot do. Not that they can really position themselves properly either when they're holding them, but still. Let's take a good look at Keldor's head. He's got the poke your eye out kind of a goatee, the evil villain thin mustache, really high arching eyebrows like a Vulcan. Actually, and the pointy ears. Actually, he looks like a blue Vulcan when you get right down to it. I do have a flesh toned version of this head that I got from Barbarossa Customs, which I'm going to use to create my own Prince Keldor figure. I do kind of want to see them actually do beardless and mustache-less face, though, to do the younger version that you see in the comics that they did when they did the Masters of the Multiverse crossover, because everybody's got to have a multiverse now. And for Kronos here, he wears the same helmet as Trapjaw. He's got this really ugly smile. And he's got eyebrows, which they did not put on Trapjaw, and he's supposed to have them. The vintage figure had them, and not that I want to be too picky about that, he looks really stupid without the eyebrows. You can see where they're supposed to go, but they ain't there. There's my rant for this video. Still not sure why they decided to give him the little places to put his Trapjaw weapons either. Anyway, this will conclude our look at the Masters of the Universe Rise of Evil 2-pack. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace and love.